In 1988, 19-year-old Tara Calico leaves for a morning bike ride and never comes back.
It was unheard of for any type of crime to happen of this magnitude in such a loving place.
Her small town bands together to search for her.
Months go on, no additional answers. And then one day, a picture pops up in Florida.
It was the picture that shocked the nation.
No one knew if the photo was a hoax or an ominous clue.
The girl in the Polaroid looks just like Tara, but is it her?
We thought it was her. We were so sure it was her.
After more than 30 years, are we any closer to finding out what happened to Tara Calico?
I believe there's people out there that know exactly what happened.
My name is Michelle Dole. I am Tara Calico's sister, and I've been searching for her since September 20th, 1988. We lived in a town called Belen, New Mexico. It's a small town. You never were concerned about your neighbors or letting your kids go out and play. Tara was a very active person. She had been her entire life. From the time she was little, she was in Pee-wee cheerleading. She did softball. She was part of the ski club. She loved playing tennis.
Tara is a sophomore at the University of New Mexico and enjoys riding her bike on the same route almost every day.
She would ride 17 miles out and 17 miles back. It was a very isolated area, and it was very serene. It was time to herself.
But on the morning of September 20th, 1988, something goes wrong.
She told her mom that she was gonna go out for her normal bike ride and that she'd be back because she was gonna go play tennis with her boyfriend.
Tara leaves at 9:30 a.m.
Tara actually did tell my mom that morning that if I'm not back by noon, come looking for me. It was kind of just like checking in and letting you know this is what I'm doing today, see you later. I believe it was about 12:05, my mother realized that she hadn't been back yet. She jumped in her vehicle and went to go look for Tara, expected to find her walking on the side of the road with her bike. She drove all the way out as far as the 14 miles goes to the train tracks where she would turn around and come back and didn't find her. She thought, well, maybe I just missed her. You know, there wasn't the same technology that there is nowadays. There wasn't cell phones. There wasn't even pagers. It's not like Tara to do something different than what she said she's going to do.
Panicked, Tara's mom calls Tara's boyfriend and police.
This wasn't a town where there was crime. Something had to have happened.
My name is Sergeant Joseph Rowland. I'm with the Valencia County Sheriff's Office. I'm currently the lead investigator for the Tara Calico case. I was assigned to it in October of 2016 and have been actively working it since then. A young adult to be missing like that was certainly out of the ordinary.
It was just unbelievable. But I kept thinking, boy, she's gonna be in trouble when she gets home, because, man, look at all this happening. But it wasn't until I went out with her friends and her boyfriend on the search, and it got real. It was cold, it was getting dark. There's a storm coming in. Everybody was walking literally like 2 feet apart, hand by hand, across both sides of the road in these empty fields, driving up and down the highway, looking for any clue.
The searchers find signs of Tara.
2.5 miles south of Rio Communities are some tire tracks that look spun out on the side of the road.
It looked like there was a scuffle, but you could clearly see the bike marks and the tire marks from the vehicle.
There's a broken piece of a yellow Walkman, which she was reported to have had a Walkman when she went on her bike ride.
To find the exact cassette player that she had, it was bright yellow, it was very distinctive. It felt like Tara was smart enough to leave a trail of things.
The search also turns up a cassette tape.
The tape itself was also found along Highway 47 within 3 miles of Rio Communities. Tara's mom stated that it belonged to her daughter.
Multiple witnesses come forward, all describing a similar scene. They'd seen a girl riding her bike and a Ford pickup truck trailing behind.
If there's a car running half on the road, half off, 10 miles an hour in a 55-mile-an-hour zone in a remote location, and it's being reported sometimes it's 20 feet directly behind, it certainly shows an indication that whoever was operating that Ford pickup truck was intent on the young lady riding that bicycle.
He said he saw somebody run from the front of the truck into the passenger side and jump in. And that's when he saw Tara on her bike and had the earphones on. And she wasn't even aware of the truck behind her. It didn't see her.
Over the next 5 days, a vast search started happening throughout day and night. Search of horseback, on foot, with dogs. We took boats out on the Rio Grande River, which is nearby. We contacted Albuquerque Resources and got ROTC students out there to help us search on foot.
In the days following her disappearance, the sheriff's department releases a sketch of the driver, but it generates no leads. Tara's family is desperate.
Tara became like a myth. Like, don't go out there or, same thing will happen to you that happened to Tara Calico.
9 months go by without a clue. Then, a mysterious photo surfaces.
On June 15th, 1989, a Polaroid was found face down in a convenience store at Port St. Joe, Florida. A lady coming out of the store who was doing business there, she noticed it, picked it up out of curiosity.
Current Affairs airs a photograph of a lady and a young man tied up, mouths are duct taped in the back of a van.
I have pictures that look identical. If I had to say yes or no, I would say yes.
Yeah. Right now, we're just trying to disseminate this picture in hopes that somebody can identify these two children.
FBI comes down and then becomes the lead investigative agency for this, and a large-scale media frenzy, America's Most Wanted, Oprah Winfrey Show, and we get flooded with a ton of tips, a ton of information from all over the United States.
But does the photo hold clues to Tara's whereabouts? A book containing an indecipherable phone number is also found.
The significant thing about the book and the picture was there was a phone number inscribed on the binder of the book. And it could have been over 200 variations of a phone number. 50 of them were only valid, but they were never able to figure out what that phone number was.
The nationwide frenzy brings a second family into the spotlight.
The mothers of Mike and Tara were strangers only a week ago. Now they're brought together in a common cause, a national effort to find their missing children.
Michael Henley's parents claim their son is in the picture with Tara. He went missing on a camping trip with his dad in New Mexico 2 months before Tara disappeared.
I want it to be him. The boy's obviously been taken care of. He's alive, but I don't want to be fooled.
In June of 1990, 1 year after the photo surfaces, Michael Henley's remains are found.
He was supposedly identified and found up in the Zuni Mountains here in New Mexico, and the official ruling of death was that he died of exposure.
Both the FBI and Scotland Yard analyzed the photo. The FBI says it isn't Tara. Scotland Yard thinks otherwise.
I do see resemblances to Tara Calico in that photograph. However, analysis reporting that I've seen indicates it's not Tara Calico in that photograph.
I am very torn. I go back and forth. Do I think that's Tara? It looks exactly like her.
But if it's not Tara in the photo, who is it?
One day turned into 2 days. 2 days turned into a week turned into a month. I just can't believe it's been over 30 years and nothing.
It's been 3 decades since Tara disappeared, but investigators aren't giving up.
Sergeant Rowland at Valencia County Sheriff's Department, who's been in charge of Tara's case for a couple years now, has been working so hard on it. He has also been so dedicated. FBI is back into it, and they're hitting it hard.
I believe some sort of foul play took place that day, September 20th, 1988, and Tara was taken or abducted or murdered or something.
Michelle isn't giving up either. She's working on a podcast with one of Tara's old classmates, Melinda Esquivel. The pair believes the truth lies close to home.
People in town start talking, little parties, they theorize what might have happened.
I think that what happened is these boys were catcalling her, driving alongside of her, harassing her, and either purposely or accidentally hit her. And that would be where the scuffle is on the side of the road. Maybe, you know, she panicked and said, "You're not gonna get away with this," or whatever. And that's when things got worse.
Her theory has been met with skepticism.
I believe that the family of the individuals that did this were involved in the cover-up, and I believe that they know where Tara's remains are or where they were.
And there's talk in the community that everybody knows what's happened to Tara Calico. I believe there's people out there that know exactly what happened. I believe those people need to come forward and trust us to act appropriately on that.
Frustratingly, if Tara was murdered, the law is not on her side.
Any crime that had occurred to Tara Calico on September 20th, 1988, the vast majority of those crimes that could have been committed, the statute of limitations has long since been expired.
But her family will never stop searching for closure.
And I guess the one thing that I'd like for people to know is it's never going to be over until it's over. So if anybody thinks that this is going to go away and it's going to be swept under the rug again, it's not. I'm going to continue with this. This is not going away.